All right. Well, one last big question. On a
Uh-huh.
slightly different topic, but still, it's about life. Still, Alex, do you want children? Do you want a baby? Do you want a little baby Alex Hunter?
Do I want one?
Yeah, yeah,
Why you selling?
Uh,
yeah.
not at the moment.
Well, in the future,
In the future, not in the past.
not in the past. We all know what happened with that one.
I think so. Yeah.
This is like one of the weirdest proposals of joint fatherhood I've ever seen.
You want to have a baby with me?
Something.
We adopt.
Did you want to do something together?
I mean, we could.
Can I get involved?
We could train it up. We could be like a trio of dads. Think of the skills the baby could have.
It could learn woodwork. It could make a table for us.
I'm thinking more useless flips. It would just learn a load of useless flips from its three dads.
I'm thinking we take it because that's too predictable. I feel like we take it down the craftsmanship route.
All right.
Get deep into like glass blowing or something.
It becomes a diligent carpenter. Gets all its measurements right.
It was just bored, and within 3 weeks, it always has a pencil behind its ear.
Yeah.
What about you, Kojo? How many children are you gonna have?
I don't know. It depends how the first one goes, doesn't it? But
now the first one's the test.
I'm going to train him up. I've seen it. The whole story. I don't know. Maybe it won't happen like this, but I think I'm going to have the greatest tricker of all time. Will be my child. I'm the perfect person for that to happen with. When you think about it, because deep into the tricking coaching, deep into the technique side of things, access to all the information I could dream of on training. I'm setting myself up to have a job I can do from home, so I'm always present. I want to have a home spring floor, so perfect training environment. My woman's a tricker, so she's on board. Like I think all the things align, and I think I'd create the best tricker ever.
Well, you know how everything in life is always 10 times harder, 10 times more problematic, and it never, ever, ever goes to plan, even if you've got everything in place for it to work perfectly.
True. Yeah, they might just want to play FIFA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might just
what?
Well, you can have all the perfect environments, and sometimes kids just aren't that into it too.
See, but I think part of it's like mindset as well. I feel like I could instill a really good mindset because my job is instilling good mindsets. Like I put a lot of effort into learning how to do that.
Would you teach them as soon as they can walk? What would be your
yeah, like
be the
as
plan?
they were learning to walk, I'd already be getting them like straight. So I try and make it as much of a game as possible. Like it's all just a game. We play game. Like when I'm playing games with the kids, the game would kind of be training for movement stuff in general, but we're just playing games.
Kojo's just got this 3-year-old doing helicopteros in the woods.
I try and figure out how to turn all training into game form for the early years. Like just bouncing on the trampoline as well. Just being like, see how high you can bounce, just to get used to bouncing and controlling your body. Bounce on your back as many times as you can. You know, I don't know. I don't have it all planned out yet, but I have a rough idea.
You just don't want your kid to be sick of it by the time they're 3.
That's the thing. Well, that's why you got to make it fun, because people. This is always the go-to. This is when most people I tell, they always think of like Michael Jackson's parents or something. They always think that the parent has to be really mean and make the kid hate it for the kid to be really good. And I've seen the parents who are like that, and their kids aren't normally even the best ones. Like, you don't... I think you just have to kind of get them to try their best and take it seriously, but also make it fun. I think making it fun is a huge part of it. Like, you don't get good at something unless you find it fun. So I wouldn't make it like school in any way.
I do agree with you, but I think there's still a pretty big element of like of it being random as to what they enjoy.
It's I don't know if it is. There's just so many examples of people who become the best at things. Lots of the time, it's kind of comes from their parents, but then they take it on. Like you,
No, true.
you
But
can predict what your parents tell you to do if you like hate your parents or if they've made it into a horrible thing. If it's like a really fun thing, like my mom, because I told her about this, and she was like, "Well, we got you doing violin and like that. Look how that went." Like, because I just didn't want to do it and I quit. And I was like, "Well, was I inspired? Did you ever show me an incredible violinist?" And it's like, no, I'd never seen someone play a violin great. So obviously, I'm not going to be inspired to get good at playing violin. I'd show them loads of amazing tricking and all these fun, how much fun you can have with tricking. I'd make it a fun, exciting thing that you want to do. So I wouldn't just be like, do this, do that. I mean, it's like a workout. I'd make it into a fun thing.
Show them why it would be cool for them to get good at it.
Yeah. But yeah, in the book that I read about this, it's like this guy wanted to prove this theory that talent doesn't really exist. There's all about how much you practice and how well. So he got his 3 daughters to play chess from a really young age. He trained all of them, like try to get on playing chess every day. His 3 daughters all became chess world champions. All 3 of them became 3 of the best chess players of all time because they weren't just born naturally gifted in chess. This dude decided before they were born that he was going to get them to be great at chess. And they still all, I know at least one of them, like, yeah, I remember one of them still works in like the chess field, like they have a chess place and all that. So I don't know. It's like the parents got them to love that, but in a way where they don't resent the parents for it. They just appreciate the chess. So I think you got to like ignite the spark in the kid rather than just forcing them to do it as a strict thing.
Was the dad like a chess champion or something?
No, he just read on
He
it.
just picked a random thing.
He did. He was a scientist. I mean, that's why he's doing this experiment. But he just read up on chess and like helped him along the way. He probably got on lessons with people too and all that. But it's like, look at Michael Guthrie. Like his parents obviously involved in martial arts, so it's a slight variation from it. But it's like it wasn't completely random. He grew up having parents who own a martial arts dojo. It's like he was around that world from a young age, and it didn't make.
I've also seen so many kids now who, when they were like 8, 9, 10, I was like, that's the one, like back in the day, and just nothing.
Well, I've also known, like when I was younger, I played a lot of football, and even though people loved football and they would train a lot, if they were, I don't know, sometimes they would just kind of deviate from it because they weren't like if you're not getting the results or anything like that, and then they just kind of lose interest in it, like when they're getting a little bit older. So that's always been my thought with it, where it seems as though they might enjoy it, but they might also just kind of because they're going to try other things as well. They might just gravitate more so towards something else.
I try and bring them up in a way where they understood that they could be incredible at tricks, but also really good at other stuff too. Like there's a lot of hours in the day. You could take on multiple other sports, especially as a kid with how fast their bodies regenerate and how much energy they have. You don't need to trick that much to be incredibly good. If you're tricking efficiently and, have an idea on technique and progressions, the kid could be tricking twice a week, 2 hours a pop, and they could be really, really good. And there's so much time to do other stuff as well,
Yeah.
That is why sometimes I doubt now how long they'll last. 'Cause I'm like, oh, this kid is 7 or 8. They have so much time to decide if they're doing this, to decide if they want to do something else. Like, I almost think like it'd be crazy if they're still doing this by the time they're like in their late teens because they're so young.
But then I guess for the people that actually do love it and are getting the results, because I think I don't know, if you haven't got because you may have the perfect facilities as an example. You may have all of those, all the access you need to facilities and whatnot. But if you don't necessarily have the right information, you don't get the results, then it's a lot easier for you to sway.
it's the mindset that stops people. I mean, like Alex said, with when you've seen kids who are like pretty good and you think they're going to be the next best, and then they just stop. Like I feel like the real potential is the mindset. If you see a kid with a really strong mindset, that's a better tell than like how good they are at flips. Like when we saw Johan, do you remember that, Omid?
Yeah.
I remember first seeing Johan. He was trying cart dub swing and like slamming again. I think he was trying dub, but he was like miles off because he wasn't that good at cart dub. But I do remember every day of the gathering, he did way more tricks than every single other person there. And you could tell and he was like super focused, trying his best the whole time. He was like, you could tell that this kid was taking it so seriously and trying so hard. You could tell he was going to get really good, even though he wasn't like talented with flips, really.
I think that's a big thing. First one in, last one out. I mean, I was that person a lot in the beginning. Sometimes now, still, if it's a good session, First one in, last one. Like,